The world is quiet now. A silence blankets the ruins of what was once the Western world. The great cities, Washington, London, Paris, Berlin, stand as hollowed-out husks, their mighty skylines now nothing but shattered glass and scorched steel. The people who once ruled through arrogance, through their illusions of control, now wander the wastelands, dazed, starving, broken. And in the east, Moscow stands tall, untouched, a beacon of order in the smoldering ruins of NATO's ambitions. It took less than 2 weeks. For decades, NATO provoked Russia, inching ever closer, pushing further into the borders of history's most resilient empire. Treaties were ignored, warnings dismissed, and red lines mocked. The West, in its arrogance, believed it could contain Russia, humiliate it, starve it, surround it. They thought they held all the power. They thought Russia was weak. Even when Russia warned them, when Moscow made it clear that its patience was finite, they laughed. The media scoffed, their politicians postured, and their generals, bloated with complacency, assured their people that Russia was nothing more than a gas station with nukes. But history has a way of humbling empires. And in April of 2027, NATO learned that lesson in the most brutal way imaginable. The war did not begin with a slow build-up. There was no long, drawn-out conflict. There was only the storm. The first wave came in the dead of night. Hypersonic missiles, moving too fast for Western defenses to react, obliterated command centers, airfields, and infrastructure within the first hour. Communications collapsed. Satellites were blinded. By the time NATO's leaders realized what was happening, it was already too late. Their jets, still grounded, were destroyed in firestorms before their pilots could reach them. Their warships, arrogant symbols of Western power, were reduced to burning wrecks. Their soldiers, expecting another slow-moving conflict like Iraq or Afghanistan, found themselves utterly overwhelmed, cut off, and annihilated before they could even mount a defense. By the second day, Paris had fallen into chaos. Berlin was in flames. London was paralyzed. Washington, the great capital of the free world, had no idea what was even happening, as cyber warfare had plunged their systems into darkness. The war was over before it had truly begun. The United States, the supposed leader of the free world, was the first to break. The government fractured, the military command disintegrated, and the streets turned to anarchy. European capitals fell into civil unrest as their citizens realized that NATO, this great alliance they had been told would protect them, was a lie. By day 6, NATO's command formally surrendered. What remained of their forces were leaderless, scattered, and useless. By day 10, the last remnants of Western power begged for terms. And by day 13, the flags of their nations lay in the ashes of their once great cities. And so now, Russia stands alone at the top. The last great power. The one that was never broken. The one that refused to kneel. Moscow's streets are filled with life, while those in the West are filled with ghosts. The world is no longer ruled by those who live in illusions, by those who see war as a game played from a distance. It is ruled by those who understand struggle. By those who remember history. And as NATO's former leaders sit in exile, watching their countries burn, one question must haunt their every waking moment: was it worth it?